Welcome to the deep dive. So you asked us to take a look at Mel Robbins' The Let Them theory.
Yeah, it's all about navigating relationships, personal growth.
Right, without that constant feeling, that need to control everything around you.
Exactly. So we've really dug into her 2024 book. It's full of her own stories, plus the research she uses.
And our goal today really is to give you a practical handle on this whole let them idea.
And its other half, the let me part.
Yes, the crucial let me, so you can actually use it like right away to maybe cut down on stress, have better interactions.
We're hoping to help you spot those places where you might be, maybe without realizing it, giving your power away.
And how to pull that focus back where it belongs with you.
Well, what's interesting, I think, is how this theory wasn't just some, sudden idea. It grew out of real struggle for her.
Oh, yeah, she talks about the debt, right? Like $800,000 in debt?
In her early 40s, yeah. A point where, a lot of people would feel totally defined by that kind of setback.
Totally. That feeling of being lost, even after trying different things, that seems to have really fueled her search.
Definitely a motivator.
And it's pretty fascinating how her first big thing, the 5-second rule.
Which just exploded after her TEDx talk.
Right, how that sort of paved the way for this deeper stuff. People really clicked with that simple tool, didn't they?
Oh, absolutely. For overcoming hesitation.
Yeah.
And it seems like that massive response got her thinking bigger.
Yeah, beyond just like individual motivation.
Exactly. Into, well, how we connect, how relationships work. Which brings us right to that key story she tells.
A prom story.
The prom story, yeah. The one about her son's high school prom. That really shows where let them started for her.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack this. So she'd done proms before with her daughters.
Plus she had it down.
Figured her son Oakley's would be easy, the tux, the date, all that.
The whole routine.
But then they're heading out the door, and she's got this corsage she carefully picked out.
A beautiful one, she says.
And Oakley's like, nope, no corsage for his date.
And you can just picture her reaction, right? That initial, but I went to the effort.
Totally. She even tries to negotiate a bit.
But he's firm. And then I think one of the daughters pipes up saying she already has her own corsage.
Yeah, it's that classic moment, isn't it? Your good intentions just don't land.
And the key thing is resisting that urge to control her preference. You just can't.
Right. And then, the weather. It starts pouring rain.
A total downpour.
So you've got 20 kids, fancy clothes, no umbrellas, and no actual dinner plans.
And Robbins goes into, full parent fix-it mode.
Frantically calling restaurants, trying to get a last-minute table.
But the teenagers.
Completely chilled. They're just talking about grabbing tacos somewhere small and local.
And that's really the core of it, isn't it? Her drive to make it the perfect night.
Versus what they actually wanted.
Exactly. And watching them just head out, happy, into the rain. She gets it.
Yeah.
She can't control their choices, their fun, not even the rain.
It was their prom, however imperfect it looked to her.
That's the insight. Trying to manage other people's experiences, external stuff,
Yeah.
it's futile.
And that's the light bulb moment. Realizing how much energy you waste trying to manage what others think or do or say.
It's just a recipe for frustration.
Which leads straight into the theory itself. Let them.
And the essential second part, let me.
Right.
The basic idea, as she puts it, is that when we're stuck or trying to achieve something, the problem isn't always us. Often it's that we're handing over power to other people without realizing it.
Yeah.
Trying to control what they think or feel or do.
Well, yeah. How often do we try to say just the right thing?
Or bend over backwards so no one's disappointed.
Keep the peace, avoid judgment, even if it costs us.
It's exhausting. And that seesaw analogy she uses is great for this.
Yeah, I like that one.
Someone does something, we react badly, take it personally.
And boom, we're weighed down. They've got the power over how we feel.
But let them is like stepping off the seesaw, freeing yourself from that weight.
Pushing off, getting your power back, shifting the dynamic.
But, and this is really important, let them isn't just being passive or checked out.
No.
The crucial next step is let me. It's about taking that energy you just saved.
And turning it inward.
Exactly. Focusing on your own reactions, your responsibilities, what you actually want.
So once you stop trying to control them.
You get the space to look at your part, what you can actually influence.
Which connects really well to something we all deal with. Stress.
Oh, definitely. She tells that story about being on a plane.
With the coughing passenger, yeah.
It started as just annoying, right?
Yeah.
But it quickly ramped up into real stress for her.
Totally affected her mood. Couldn't focus on work. Haven't we all been there? Some little external thing just spirals.
And neurologically, as she points out, stress puts us in that survival mode.
Rational thought goes out the window. Patience do.
Right. Dr. Aditi explains that physiological response. So back to the coughing guy. Classic uncontrollable stressor.
You can't make someone stop coughing. That's the let 'em.
You just let them walk.
But the power comes with the let me, taking charge of your response.
Yeah, she mentions things like deep breathing. Practical stuff to calm the nervous system, reset that stress response.
It really boils down to focusing energy where it counts on your reaction, which you can control, not the cough, which you can't.
And this same idea applies so well professionally, in the workplace.
Oh, for sure. Like that scenario she describes, you want a promotion, you feel you deserve it.
The boss is just kind of stringing you along, vague promises.
Been there. The let them part is accepting you can't force their hand.
Can't control their decision, their timing, when or even if it happens.
That can be really hard to accept, right? Especially when you feel undervalued.
It is. But the let me is where you take your power back.
Okay.
Shift focus from feeling stuck to actively managing your own career.
So what does that look like?
Well, looking for other opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Polishing the resume, networking, taking responsibility for your path.
Okay. Realizing you're not trapped. You can find something better. That's empowering.
Hugely empowering. Which kind of leads to a practical question.
When do you step in? And when do you just let them...
Yeah, how do you choose your battles? She uses that dog cart story.
Oh, right. The owner not cleaning up.
Yeah. Her first instinct is, I should say something. Police the situation.
But then she pauses.
And asks herself, is this a quick annoyance or will it really bug me later?
That's such a good filter.
Right.
Will this matter in an hour, a week, a year?
It helps you decide if action is actually needed. And she makes a really important point about, say, divisive topics.
Like political stuff, which is everywhere.
Exactly. The key there, especially if you're communicating information, is impartiality.
Just present the facts, don't take sides.
Let the listener, let you form your own conclusions based on what's presented. No bias.
Which connects to another big hurdle for a lot of us, that fear of being judged.
Oh, massive. Robbins is really open about her own struggles with this, especially posting on social media.
Even knowing she needed it for her career, she hesitated for ages.
2 years. Just paralyzed by worrying what friends and family would think. Can you relate to that? Overthinking what people will say.
Oh, absolutely. The energy drain, trying to craft the perfect post, worrying about likes.
Checking constantly, maybe deleting things. It's so common now.
But the let them answer here is just so liberating.
Let them think whatever the heck they want to think. Just let it go.
It's freeing yourself from trying to manage everyone else's opinions. An impossible task.
Totally impossible.
Right.
And the let me part. That's about grounding yourself in your own values.
Being proud of what you do, regardless of the reaction.
Right. When your self-worth isn't tied to what others think, you become pretty resilient to judgment. You're solid internally.
Now, family dynamics, that's a whole other level, isn't it?
Yeah, families are complicated. Robbins points out how often family members, usually out of love, right?
And just years of habit and expectations.
Offer opinions you didn't ask for or try to control things.
It's like this interconnected web. You change something and it sends ripples everywhere.
Understanding that system helps a lot. And she uses step-parenting as a really potent example.
That's a tough one.
For sure. The advice to let them grieve or even let them see you as a threat.
Wow.
It acknowledges the difficulty right off the bat and it immediately shifts the focus to the step-parent's response.
The let me being. Compassion. Patience.
Exactly. Providing understanding and grace in a really tricky situation.
And this links to that frame of reference idea from Lisa Bilyeu.
Yes. Robbins uses her own mother's reaction to her marriage to illustrate it.
How her mom wasn't really judging the marriage itself.
Right. From her mom's frame of reference, she was worried about her daughter moving away, grieving that potential distance. Have you ever stopped to think, like, maybe that critical comment isn't about me, but about their stuff?
That's a huge shift in perspective.
Yeah. Trying to see things from their shoes, understanding their perspective. It doesn't mean anyone has to change their mind.
But it builds empathy.
Definitely reduces conflict. Just acknowledging that different viewpoints can exist, each valid in its own frame.
Okay, what about dealing with other people's big emotional reactions?
Yes. Robbins makes the point that, honestly, adults can be just as reactive as kids sometimes.
True.
And it's absolutely not our job to manage their emotions for them.
If we let their immaturity dictate our choices,
We end up always putting their feelings first. neglecting our own needs.
So the approach is,
Just let them react.
yeah,
Simple as that. Give them space to feel whatever they're feeling.
without you jumping in to fix it or take responsibility.
Exactly. And the let me is about doing what's right for you, even if it upsets them.
And consciously stepping away from manipulation like guilt trips or the silent treatment.
Recognizing it and refusing to play that game. And knowing the science helps too, right?
The 90-second rule.
Yeah, those emotional chemicals surge for about 90 seconds if we don't fuel them with a reaction.
So letting them have that moment, knowing it might pass if you don't engage immediately, that's powerful.
It is. And it's very different from helping a child learn to process emotions versus managing an adult outburst.
Okay, let's talk comparison. That's a tough one too.
Yes, comparison trap. Robbins admits, some level of social comparison is probably just human nature.
But the danger is when it becomes obsessive, torturing yourself over things you can't change.
Like fixed attributes. She saw her own daughter struggling, comparing herself to her sister. It takes a real toll emotionally.
Constantly focusing on what someone else has. It's paralyzing. Makes you feel inadequate, maybe resentful.
So the let them here is accepting those unchangeable differences.
Yeah.
Let them have what they have.
And the let me?
That's about shifting your focus hard onto playing your own hand, making the most of what you have.
Okay.
And she even reframes comparison instead of just negativity.
Use it as inspiration.
Yeah. Thinking let them have their success could be like, okay, that proves it's possible.
Like evidence.
Exactly. And even jealousy.
Hmm.
She says it can be a teacher.
How so?
It shows you what you really want and maybe where you're holding yourself back.
Huh. So you flip the negative into a motivator for your own growth.
That's the idea. Choose to use it positively.
Adult friendships, they definitely change over time, don't they?
Oh, yeah. The great scattering, she calls it. People move, schedules get crazy, life stages differ.
It's not like when you're younger and everyone's right there.
Totally different dynamics.
Yeah.
So part of it is recognizing when friendships naturally shift or fade. That's the let them. Accepting change happens. Have you seen that in your own friendships?
For sure. It can be sad, but yeah, it happens.
And the let me here involves looking honestly at those pillars of friendship she mentions.
Proximity, timing, energy.
Right. Is it nearby? Do your schedules align? Is the effort mutual? If a friendship feels one-sided.
It's time to assess those pillars.
Yeah. And instead of getting stuck feeling resentful, the let me is about taking initiative.
To find new connections.
Being willing to go first, put yourself out there,
Mhm.
and giving it time. Friendships take effort.
The give it a year idea.
Right. Beating that social scaffolding with small, consistent efforts.
Okay, what about when you desperately wish someone you care about would change?
The classic wanting someone to make healthier choices or different life decisions. Very common, very frustrating.
Because nagging doesn't work.
Pleading, pressure. It usually backfires. Why? Because we all need that sense of control over our own lives.
Autonomy.
Change is hard and personal.
Deeply personal. They have to choose it. You can't force it. That's the let them sit on the couch part, accepting that reality.
But she does offer something more constructive, right? The ABC loop.
Yes, apologize and cry. Ask, state your need or concern clearly. Back off and observe, give them space. And celebrate change, reinforce any positive steps.
So it's about influencing, not controlling.
Exactly. And a big part of that is modeling the change yourself. The let me is showing, not just telling.
Which leads to maybe the hardest part, supporting people through really big struggles like mental health or addiction.
Yeah, this is incredibly sensitive ground. Robbins makes a vital distinction. Support versus rescue or enabling.
She says people only heal when they're ready, willing to do the work, which is tough to hear when you care. The let them struggle idea feels counterintuitive.
But it's about allowing natural consequences.
Yes, and providing support, acceptance, compassion without judgment or pressure, but also setting firm boundaries.
And sometimes needing to step back if those boundaries are crossed.
It's incredibly difficult, but sometimes necessary, both for your well-being and maybe for them to truly face their situation. Protecting yourself is key.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. Love and relationships in today's world.
Complex. Robbins really pushes for authenticity here. The let me be me in dating.
Don't try to be someone you're not.
Right. And learning to tell the difference between choosing love and just chasing it. Recognizing genuine interest.
So the let them is about watching their actions.
Paying attention. inconsistent communication, mixed signals. Let their actions show you who they are.
And the let me.
Is having the self-respect to accept that truth. Stop chasing people who don't prioritize you.
She also talked about commitment versus compatibility in long-term relationships.
Yeah, they're not the same thing. And she offers that question for deal breakers. Will you regret it more? Which path leads to more regret?
That's a tough one. And for heartbreak.
Practical advice there too, rooted in let them, meaning let yourself grieve. Don't fight it.
No contact, lean on your support system.
Fill your calendar, give yourself a challenge, keep hope alive. It's about processing and moving forward.
So after all this focus on others, she brings it back home.
To the most important relationship, the one with yourself.
The let them theory isn't just external.
No, it's a guide for self-compassion, self-respect, setting your own boundaries. You don't need anyone else's okay to be happy or go after your dreams.
I love that metaphor she uses. The sky is always changing.
Right. You can't control the weather outside. Focus on your internal weather, your response.
You choose how things affect you.
And think about the cost. Not using let them wastes so much energy trying to control the uncontrollable.
And not using let me.
That's missed opportunities for growth, for happiness, for living your life.
It's a powerful realization. You are in charge of you. Others don't get to define you.
Absolutely. So the big takeaway from Mel Robbins, from this let them theory, it's this really practical, empowering way to handle life's messiness.
Yeah.
By shifting your focus away from trying to control others, which rarely works anyway, and on to managing yourself, your thoughts, reactions, choices.
And the result, more freedom, less stress.
And more real, authentic connections.
Okay, so for you listening, here's an actionable next step for this week.
Yeah, try this out.
Think of one specific relationship or maybe just a situation where you feel that pull, that urge to control things.
Just one to start.
And this week, consciously try the let them approach there. Just observe, notice your own reactions.
And see if you can shift your energy. Redirect it to what you can control.
Your response, your boundaries, your actions.
And just notice.
Yeah.
See if anything changes in how you feel, your stress level, or even just the vibe of the situation.
And that leads us to a final thought for you to maybe mull over this week.
A provocative one.
Now that you're thinking about all this power you get back when you stop trying to control others, what else becomes possible?
Yeah, where could you reinvest all that saved energy back into your own growth, your happiness?
What could you actually achieve if you really, truly embraced your own let me era?